The Earnestly Speaking podcast is a show that is founded on free-flowing conversation and may at times venture into mature subjects. Listener discretion is advised.
The line, of course, the man, Kyle Nash. Kyle, good one.
Listen, man, you have the credentials to potentially start your own country or legal system at the very least, because in the Op Nation, old name I know.
Yes, it's been a while. I heard that one.
The Op Nation, that's the only place I'm recognized with a different middle initial than the one my mom gave me.
You know what's funny though? I don't even know why I say it anymore. It just comes natural now.
Well, I mean,
this is F and Nash, Kyle F and Nash.
Listen, I have that effect on people in the first place, and with as often as I destroy you, I think it's appropriate.
Well, you think you destroy me, huh? You think that, huh?
I mean, did you listen to the last pod about Drew Brees where I completely worked you? You don't remember?
I don't know, man. It was good though. It was good.
No, I'm obviously joking.
You brought some perspective into the table here. I will say that.
Hey, listen. I mean, what I say is it's a model for how people should talk about stuff in this day.
I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
Take some notes. EJ Christian told you how to do it, even though he got whooped. I mean, what? Anyways, let's get into it.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. You just made me a little bit. a little bit. Oh, Jesus. All right, so I wanted to do a quick thing. I know you're busy tonight. You did your other podcast tonight on Facebook Live with our old friend BT Danny Thompson.
Right.
I have opinions on that one because real quick, you guys are talking about receivers of the decade and arguing. I checked out the show a little bit while I was setting up here, and you guys were in a discussion about Wes Welker versus Steve Smith.
Oh, you missed the part where I completely eviscerated him about he and our good friend Controversy Raphael trying to tell me that Derek Mason is a top 10 receiver in the 2000s, but that's okay.
He's really good. Top 10? I don't think so. He's really good, but
you want to know how Derek Mason made that top 10 is because he left Steve Smith off that list of the Carolina Panthers.
That's a dumb take,
bro.
That's a dumb take.
I sing in this choir. I mean, maybe you need to talk to Danny Thompson. DT is a basketball guy first.
Who were the 10 receivers that you guys agreed on?
I got to tell you, I was not part of the 10 receiver episode. I was interrupted by father duties in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So I did not catch the entire 10. I can tell you the higher part of the list was better than the lower part of the list, though I do give props to Contra for putting Hines Ward on his list.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's not bad. That's pretty good, yeah.
Because it's something other than just looking at numbers and making and listen, if you want to just look at numbers and pile them together and see who had the 210 best numbers, I'm pretty sure you can get a job as an intern at ESPN. Anyways.
Impactful, though, Hines Ward. Impactful to his team. On and off the field, both.
I
Locker
agree.
room guy, all that stuff.
I don't know.
Of course, T.O. and Randy Moss number 1 and 2. I mean, you figured out the order, but I'm sure Moss and T.O. were number 1, number 2.
Absolutely, and I agree with that. But when you say impact, that means you looked at more than just the numbers, which means you would Smith and Hines Ward every time. I mean, listen. Here's what I know: Derek Mason didn't never, KO a linebacker. I know this.
Okay, so we got a lot of things going on today. A lot of things going on in the football world, if we even get football, but we'll get to that in a second.
Oh, boy.
So the Washington football team, I guess we're going to call them that now, have officially retired the name Redskins.
Right.
And they are going to announce a name, I don't know when. We'll see when that happens, of course. But, the climate in the world today, of course, forced a hand. Corporations and sponsors, threatening to pull back their support if the Skins didn't do this. Well, anyway, I said the Skins. Probably the last time I said the Skins. Dan Snyder gave in, of course, because money talks and bullshit, whatever.
Because I think bullshit. I think Dan Snyder. I get it.
I gotta be honest with you. Like, I'm not heavily invested in the story necessarily. So I don't have a strong opinion either way. Because I'm not Indian, so I'm not offended or not. It's not for me to decide.
Right.
If the people are offended, obviously that has to be addressed. That being said, it's gonna be weird calling Washington, especially the team that's especially the team that's actually in the division of a team I root for. It's gonna be really weird calling them anything but the Washington Redskins. What's your thoughts on today's news?
And I'm kind of with you on not having a dog in the fight. Unfortunately, there are too many people of my hue that feel like they do and they want to be white knights and save the day, and that's why we're here. Well, that's why the protests for it were there initially. But now with the climate of the nation being what it is it really a surprise that this came down the pike, right? I mean, Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben couldn't survive. Of course, this was going to happen too. I don't necessarily have a problem with it per se. But if I were asked the question, whenever the polls I've seen from the Native American nation themselves, not from anybody from any other group, they're really kind of split down the middle. But there was a vocal contingent that, did things like bring lawsuits and things like that. And listen, they made change happen. I'm not going to knock it. And listen, to get Dan Snyder to budge on anything is nothing short of great. So I give those who made that happen all the props in the world. And they went after the money. And Nike, I think Target got in there, somebody, FedEx.
FedEx was the main one, I think, really, that really, just the field, of course. And
yeah. FedEx was the last. We could argue about the main one or not. I honestly think Nike had more to do with it, but it's a whole other conversation. But what I will say is Dan Snyder at the same time has one hell of an opportunity, and let me tell you how. Now, though I'm under the impression that there's issues with copyrights, if I'm Dan Snyder or hell, possibly even the NFL, because it could even benefit the league, they have a great opportunity. Should they name the franchise either the DC or the Washington Red Tails? Now, let me tell you why, Danny. Sorry, getting off the old show. Let me tell you why.
Other black guy.
Don't do that to me, Danny Thompson. I mean, EJ Christian.
Other black guy.
Listen, I do shows with no fewer than 3 black guys 3 times a week. Okay.
Who's the other?
That would be the morning show with Captain Chris Hill. I do on Captain Coming in the Morning, where I interviewed.
He's black?
Chris Hill is definitely black.
I know that.
He's a lighter-skinned brother like yourself.
Yeah.
And interviewed the mayor of Orange County today, actually, here, talking about COVID and certain precautions that are be taken by the county as far as going back to school, Disney opening up, and assistance to small businesses as well. So, you don't live in Orange County, but for those who do, check it out. By the way, thanks for the cheap plug opportunity. Moving on.
Yeah. I'm here for that. Come on.
Hey, listen, man. I if the plugging got any cheaper, it would be a different kind of show. Moving on. But when it comes to the name itself, the Washington Red Tails, man, I don't think you can. Well, let me put it this way to you, EJ Christian. Red Tails. What is the significance that you're aware of with that?
I'm sorry, you think I'm weird for saying this, though. Every time I think of Red Tails, I think of the other character. I think of the character in Sonic the Hedgehog, Tails.
Oh my God.
and I only say that because my kids love that game. So
let me educate you on some of the history of your own people there, EJ Christian. Mm-hmm. You're gonna get right, Julius. Red Tails is another reference, also like the movie that was out at one point, is a reference to the Tuskegee Airmen, a historical
okay.
Or two. So what you're doing now is taking something that was at one point historically, allegedly, depending on who you ask, offensive, to something that is now a tribute to people of color in American history. And you're using that to perpetuate an NFL franchise, something that's already pretty friendly with the military, as I understand it. But I'll see that and raise you this, Danny Thompson.
You mean Earnest Christian?
Yeah, I know, right? You keep doing that too.
Oh, the black guy. I need a sound from this other black guy.
By the way, At this point, I'm doing it on purpose just to cheese you off. It's up there with Russell Cantankerous Wilson. No.
Stick to the C's now, man.
I'll tell you this, EJ Christian.
Russell Cantaloupe Wilson.
Cantaloupe, this guy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things I would do. I would not name Russell Wilson Cantaloupe EJ Christian. That's not going to happen.
Right.
The reason why I called you, do you know why I called you Danny Thompson? Is I knew you were going to come out with that bad take. But anyways, Burn.
Yeah, you know me.
Go after my former or my current co-host with my former co-host. I guess technically I was never a co-host on your show, just a panelist. Now I'm confused. Anyway, this is
like a family. What am I trying to tell you?
That is, I'm right. I'm that crazy uncle that with a bad memory because he drank.
Rotating guests, normal guests on the show, like you and G and Roz and Antoine and all the guys. Listen,
I don't know how you put me in the same sentence with Roz and G because I am not beautiful like those people. And Twan Staley is a smart man. He was my former boss, for goodness sake. I can't be compared.
By the way, I haven't had him on the podcast in probably a year. That's not change.
Hey, listen, he's willing to jump for those that are in the family, man. Like, dude was this close to jumping on Beyond the Buzzer when I was guest hosting last week.
What happened?
While he was on vacation, and the issue was on my end. I couldn't figure out the tech. But he was ready to while on vacation. He didn't have his laptop. So, I would have to do some dance and shimmy, and I couldn't figure it out. But, one day.
They call that first world problems.
Yeah, exactly. I had a great show with my dude, BP, Brian Paul doing, a whole other good thing. But again, enough with the plugging. Red Tails is perfect from the historical and climate, the historical reference and climate that we're currently in right now as far as racial things and politics. Yeah. And let me ask you this too, EJ Christian. There's a particular jersey that got really popular for a guy that hasn't been in the league for a number of years. That would be one, Colin Kaepernick. What I'm trying to tell you is even from a business perspective. Now, granted, the saying goes, go woke, go broke. But should the Redskins make this change, they're guaranteed, in my opinion, for the true fans, not that there's many true Redskin fans by comparison.
You think you don't? Oh, well, okay.
They'll change their gear out. I would too if I was a fan. If the 49ers changed their name to, the San Francisco Gold or whatever, I'd change out my gear accordingly. Maybe not immediately, but it would happen. When UCF went from the Golden Knights to the Knights, listen, I still have one of my hats that say Golden Knights because I like the name better, and it was before the hockey team stole it. That's right, I said it.
You just say it.
But I eventually transitioned to UCF Knights gear in some cases because it shrank too much and I'm a fat guy, but that's a whole other question. So that revenue is going to come in. But I believe if you become the Washington Red Tails and lean into the historical reference and go with the airplane logo, which all renderings I've seen of those presenting it, it looks bleeding good. It's a propeller plane. And as a helmet logo goes, listen, I could argue it's far more exciting than the one that Washington currently has. But with all that in mind, you could have non-football fans that are incredibly interested in buying these jerseys. I mean, hell, you're a guy that frequents Disney all the time in my own backyard when there's not a disease going on without telling me about it so you could sneak in and sneak out and never meet me in person.
Won't be seeing me for a long time, I'll say that much. My passes are gone.
Yeah, well, that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
No, but they sell jerseys of non-sports entities. Like, Big Pete has a jersey at Disney that you can buy. Mickey has a jersey that you can buy. You're going to try to tell me that people aren't going to buy the Washington Red Tails that aren't fans of football? It's a safe bet that it's going to happen. That could turn out to be an immensely huge, profitable thing from Dan Snyder's perspective, right? And this is somebody who didn't want to change the name. This is a place where if you didn't want the name to change, you still win because the significance of the Red Tails name is going to bounce back your team, and you'll get to stop listening to all the, oh my God, your name's offensive stuff. The business wins because of the apparel sales, and it could be a true lottery ticket for those that lean into, hey, the Red Tails is a cool name, and I don't even like football because of this history stuff. There could be like, hey, well, I don't need to add to that. That's basically the point. And the league wins because they once again have shown another significant instance of doing more in the cause for better acknowledging people of color. Mm-hmm. I don't see who loses here other than people who need to, frankly.
And let's be real, they haven't been that good for 30 years. So they could use a little reset now.
Let's
be real.
People say that, Danny Thompson, and on the surface it sounds stupid, but I'm going to reference the 2003 Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers. When they killed the creamsicle, shortly after that, the pewter won a Super Bowl.
Don't get my boy Zack The Degenerate all excited now, because he's a big Washington fan, shall I say. Washington.
Oh, listen. I mean, in the Super Bowl, I'm just saying they got better. I mean, yeah, listen. The other thing is, too, the reason why the Redskins fans or Washington fans, you got to say Redskins for now because they haven't changed the name yet, but the reason why the current Washington fans are truly gained here is if there's positive PR surrounding the team. When Snyder parts from the team by death or sale, somebody will be more likely to buy it.
Yeah.
I don't hear you.
By the way, speaking of buying stuff, Redskins might be a bit of an issue though, because apparently somebody bought up all the potential names, copyrights.
Yeah, that scumbag did also buy Red Tails as well, which makes me very angry.
Capitalism. Sorry. Hey, capitalism.
No,
Sorry.
I don't hear, hey, sorry, capitalism. I mean, it makes me angry in the own way.
It's douchey. Absolutely. It's absolutely douchey. No doubt about that. I'm just saying, but that's just capitalism, and that's America.
Okay. And America also gives me the right to call this guy an asshat because he is wearing a hat full of ass. Anyways.
Will Dan Snyder actually pay up and,
I mean, listen, that possibility exists. And honestly, crap like that is the reason why we have the New Orleans Pelicans instead of the New Orleans Brass in the NBA.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And the Pelican's a real bird, obviously. Is a Pelican actually in New Orleans though?
No, the Pelican. Have you seen the Pelican brief? I mean, it's the same thing. It's in Louisiana. It's important. It's a bird that pops up and is important in the area. But you're going to try to tell me it sounds better than the New Orleans Brass? Nobody going to an NBA game with conservation in their heart. All right, they're going.
I agree, 100%.
Brass brings you when you go to Bourbon Street. Listen, you ain't got to walk into a bar and drink a single damn drink. The Brass permeates through the street, and you feel the groove the moment you step in. Granted, I may not be able to dance worth a damn, as racial stereotypes would tell you, but I still feel that groove.
Okay, so the next thing I want to talk to you about here on the pod, we missed this last week because we weren't able to get a schedule to do the podcast.
Wasabi.
Our boy Cam Swag's in New England. Our boy Cam Swag.
Yeah, I'll tell you. I am of two minds of this. And listen, I got to give Danny Thompson, no, not you, Danny Thompson, credit for calling this. I didn't think there was a way in the single bit of shenanigans that Bill Belichick would allow Cam Newton in his building. Not that he has a problem with the guy or him as a player. I just don't think he's a cultural fit on the surface. And I don't think that's still a bad criticism, but I had no idea the bargain basement price that they would acquire the man they call Superman. Just that contract is insane. How did they pull this off? Well, A, they're the bleeping Patriots. And you don't need B because that's the answer. But here's the way I think it's going to work. And you, as a Tom Brady apologist, I said it.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
I could have commented that you and Tom are in an entanglement and your wife is left out to dry like Will Smith, but that's just inappropriate. Accurate as it may or may not.
only you can say that. And make it sound realistic. Fucking Kyle.
Hey, listen, all I'm knowing is if Mrs. Christian hears this, she's going to agree with me. And I'm going to leave it at that.
She will. Oh, absolutely will.
But if they utilize Cam Schwag at age 30 or 31, whatever it is.
So young.
The way they utilized actually young Tom Brady, there's going to be success, right? What was a lot of the Patriots' game in the day? Running the football and screen passes. Well, what is a screen pass but an elongated handoff to a receiver instead of a running back in open space if everything goes well, right? The Tom Brady's completion numbers were incredibly high because they would often use screen passes to run the football, right? And that's earlier in his career before they're trusting him flinging it down the field, before they're trusting him to take over the franchise. And listen, at the end of the day, Tom Brady is still a game manager. His best attribute is long, sustained drives with virtually no turnovers, right?
Right.
And I say that with the irony of his final throw as a New England Patriot being an interception that loses a playoff.
Oh, my God, it's so bad. But, it's
But
in the end zone, too.
Yeah, I wasn't going to take it there, but it was in the end zone. You're right. Anyways, no.
Hey, context matters, right? Come on.
Listen, if we were talking about context mattering, your response should be at least it wasn't Brett Favre, but I digress. Where I'm at is with Cam Newton, that same concept will work, right? Say what you will about Noah Turner or Cam Newton or the Carolina offense last year. When Cam was on the field, they were productive in that offense. Hell, I believe they were 6-2 at one point, right? So, this was a team that could win, and then Cam got hurt, and then injuries happened on the O-line, and things started to pile up. Cam is from going from Carolina to New England in its current state. Cam is basically going to the same type of offense, right? No veteran deep ball threat, a lot of short passing, and a lot of running of the football. Granted, Sonny Michel is not Christian McCaffrey, but I digress. Now, granted, you could argue that if you combine them together, Sonny Michel and James White are Christian McCaffrey-esque, but they're still not Christian McCaffrey. Anyways, the one thing that Cam is going to have that's better is better protection, even though the Patriots' O-line isn't what it used to be. They're still going to protect Cam better, and they're going to have a better defense than Carolina currently has with all the pieces they've lost over the years. Thomas Davis, Captain Munnerlyn, Josh Norman, Julius Peppers, Luke Kuechly. I could probably think of more if I really wanted to, but I'm just not in the mood because it's depressing and I'm not even a Panther fan, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But the Patriots' defense is much better. Hell, the games where your dude Thomas Edward Bieber Brady had to score more than 20 points to win a football game because it's one of the few times the defense struggled. The losses they have on that schedule last year, that's when Brady couldn't do that. Okay? Mm-hmm. Couldn't fill in for the defense. Hey, it's Patrick Mahomes this week. You got to do something. Oh, you can't because you're old. Well, snap, right? Cam, however, adds a dimension to the offense that they have never, ever, ever, ever had in the Tom Brady era unless he was hurt. You know exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't, just ask Jacoby Brissett. That's right. Cam Newton is going to run the football, and he's going to do it more than you think as a 30-year-old.
One thing I will say agree with you on is that you definitely will see a throwback to the early Patriots teams. I really believe if Cam is a starter, which I guess we all assume he's going to be a starter. I mean, I still think there's a chance that Stidham might get a job. In camp.
Listen, there's a chance that a quarterback might lose a starting a spot because he gets punched in the face by a member of the defense too. Whatever.
Geno Smith. Why you bring up old shit for?
It's the reason why I bring that up. It's the chance. I put that happening again and the same chances as Jared Stidham winning the job.
Yeah. Well, right. Look, he'll have an opportunity now to win that job. I do think there'll be. I mean, they haven't said anything about this yet, but I do think there'll be a chance. There's still a chance he can win the job. There'll be an open competition, I'm sure, right there. But that said, I'm willing to bet that Cam will be the starter week 1.
Sure. Well, and do you think that competition exists for any other reason than to hype Cam up?
Maybe.
You think Jared Stidham is actually a legitimate starting NFL candidate? I'm sorry, I don't.
No. I don't. I liked him in college. I thought he was. I mean, I thought the moments he played it in, last year, where he wasn't that good at all. But again, Belichick drafted him for. I mean, he's gonna has some sort of value. I don't know. We'll see.
Hey, listen, what's Belichick's drafting history at quarterback for guys not named? Oh wait, did he actually draft Brady? I don't even remember at this point.
Yeah, he did. He was the coach.
He was there for 17 years. That's the joke, EJ. I know you.
Oh yeah. Okay. I thought it was actually a legitimate question you asked.
See, I can make that joke with you because you're in an entanglement with Tom Brady. I understand that. And
that word again, entanglement.
By the way, the reason why he isn't playing in Miami isn't because of anything with agents or anything like that. Is because I think Lauren Christian got a hold of him. And you say, my man.
By the way, she's out tonight with friends.
I mean, listen, she's celebrating freedom from entanglement. That's what I think it is.
Yeah, she's like, it's funny. Like, she got with me a long time ago, and I she grew up pretty quickly because of being with me, and now she's sort of reverting back to young 20s again.
Somebody had to keep the household from falling apart.
Yeah. To be honest, I like being home a lot though, so it's okay. Get the podcast. That's all I want to do is podcast all the time. Call Kyle up. Hey, Kyle, let's do a podcast tonight. She's going out tonight. Let's go podcast.
Okay, but the moment you call me Tom, it's over. Said I could call you any Tom I want.
Hey, fuck you, man. You don't want to call me Dave Thompson today. Like 3 times. But as you're saying, what?
Does this mean we have an entanglement?
Oh, Lord. Thanks, Will Chocolate. No,
hey, by the way, I would never actually ask that question because I know I would lose to G. Stelio every time. Anyways.
Oh, Lord. That cocky prick. Love you, G. No,
real quick, is not a clever name. I get it.
Yeah. That being said about Cam, yeah, I am 90% sure he'll win the starting job.
Sure. And I think, listen, you got to also remember, EJ, there's an expanded playoff slot now, right? Can you imagine?
But is that this year or next year?
I believe it's this year, sir.
Okay.
So, can you imagine how annoying Boston fans are going to be if Cam gets them to the playoffs his first year in?
Oh, fuck.
And with his
you know what sucks, too? I know you teased me being a Patriots fan for all these years, even though I'm not.
Oh, no, you're not anymore because Brady left. I get it.
No. Hold on. I'm not a Pats fan at all. You know I'm not a Pats fan. But I love Cam Newton. And
so Pats fan.
Put me back in.
Every time I think I could leave, they could pull me back in.
Yeah. You get Cam now. Like, damn, I got to root for you guys now once in a while. Like, damn it. Hey, I want Cam to do well. So this is the record.
I respected Gronk, even though he wore that jersey. I get it.
Mm-hmm. I will say this much though. I think they're still at worst an 8-8 team.
You see, that's hard for me to sign off on. For 2 reasons. I can make a case that literally everybody in the AFC East got visibly better.
Yeah, agreed.
I can make a case that the Patriots are the only team in the division that didn't. And I'm not saying they got worse. I'm just saying they didn't get better.
Oh.
He's thinking hard about that.
No. I'm with you. I again, it's going to be one of those things where in hindsight, because again, yeah, the Jets got better, but prove it. The Bills are the only team you can say, okay, well, yeah, they show some really good progress because the last 3 years made the playoffs. Right. But
on paper is what I mean. You're absolutely right.
Right. No, but I think you're right. But I think also too, on paper, in relation to the Jets and the Dolphins, especially. Okay, you look better. Now you got to go in and show me. The Bills, I can say, yeah, they improved because they last two to three seasons they've actually been to the playoffs.
No, not even that, bro. Like, do you understand if a holding penalty in overtime doesn't take place against the Bills, they continue to move the ball down the field. They had a 3rd and 5, which they very well could have completed.
Mm-hmm.
And they could have been in position to get that winning field goal, where instead, 3rd and 15 comes up. They fall short. Then Deshaun Watson.
Oh, you talking about the Texans and the Bills. Thank you.
Yes, I am. What'd I say?
Right. You said the Bills. I don't know what game you're talking about.
Yeah, the Bills, excuse me, the playoff game, right?
Right.
They recently lost against the Texans
in
overtime.
Then,
the Texans, or check that, the Texans. The Texans, but the Bills send a blitz from each side. One guy hits Watson, has him dead to rights. The other blitzer also hits him thinking he's going to help and knocks Watson back on balance, where he runs loose, hits Tywan Jones for the first down. And then after that, they score the field goal that seals the game. Yeah. It's up there with the fact that Patrick Mahomes should already be a back-to-back Super Bowl winner, but thanks to D Ford, I got to listen to Brady butt munches like you try to tell me he's the GOAT. I said it.
All right. Last thing, let you go. Last question. I'll keep it simple. NFL, I'm 50-50 on, and whether or not we'll see a season. I think money will drive that argument. However, college football, I have real doubts that we're going to see a season this year. You already have conferences starting to, pull back on full schedules, only do conference schedules. And to me, that's the first step. That's the first step to them. And I just think, with the rising cases, I think if I had to put a percentage number, a chance that we'll have no college football this year, I put it 80%. Your thoughts?
First of all, ow. Second,
I hate to say it.
No, man. Joking. I'm not. I shouldn't joke too much about this topic, because I think I'm at the point now where I think you're absolutely right. Now, granted, much like in the state of Florida, when they did shut down and did things right for 30 seconds before they reopened too soon, the thing that made people take it serious was Disney shutting down, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this analogy, the SEC is Disney, okay? If you see the SEC make a movement as such, pull the plug on the whole league, okay? Now, to your point, what do we have so far? Conference only for Big Ten, ACC, and I believe the Pac-12 is in that group now too, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you for a fact, just as an example, for an air quote smaller program, though they honestly shouldn't be compared to a lot of the losers that are there in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Yeah, that's right. I said it. The American Athletic Conference, the AAC, as a conference, has a better record than the ACC. And yes, that includes lame-ass Notre Dame. Okay? Other than Clemson, name me a good ACC team. You can't. Moving on. It damn sure isn't anybody playing in this state. That's right. I said it, Hurricane fans. No, you're right. Hey, I don't want to hear shit from you, Seminole fan. Y'all suck butt too right now.
We're terrible. We're terrible. You already know how I feel.
Boise State, they're going to start calling you the potato skins instead of this redskin potato joke they keep making about the damn Washington team. Anyways, by the way, 2021 UCF versus Boise State, super stoked for that game. At any rate, UCF now finds themselves once again with games pulled from the schedule and ain't got shit to do with a hurricane. Okay? The ACC is playing conference only. That pulls North Carolina and Georgia Tech both from the schedule. Now, you remember what happened last time Georgia Tech got pulled from the schedule, E.J. Christian?
No.
2017 co-national championship, UCF gets named by way of the Colley Matrix. Had they played Tech, their strength of schedule would have been too low, and Alabama would have been the universal winner through all the polls.
Interesting. Okay.
So I don't think it's a bad thing Georgia Tech getting pulled from their schedule. However, this year, after what UNC did to Clemson last year and really scared the bejesus out of them.
Great game, though. God, it was a great game.
Of course it was. It shouldn't have been, but it darn sure was. I would have really looked forward to, assuming it doesn't happen, or no, right now, yeah, it's not going to happen. I would have really looked forward to UCF UNC. But when you look at that, so the only out-of-conference game really remaining for UCF, without looking it up, that I can identify immediately is FAMU. I ain't gonna fly.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, the smaller conferences are really at right, and there's some HBCU conferences that have taken themselves. I think the North Atlantic Conference is one, and I can't speak. I know the SWAC was talking about it, but
the SWAC.
That's right, Southwest Atlantic.
I know. That's SWAC. I've heard it well.
SWAC. I have to say it out loud so people know that I know what it is and that I'm just not some corporate tool.
Corporate tool.
But
jabroni.
Anyways, enough about G. Stelio. So anyway,
exactly.
I'm so bad. That doesn't make me wrong though.
Terrible.
By the way, I'll leave it at that. No, but I'm stalling all this to say, and I'm probably gonna have to say it on record. I want to have a fourth consecutive season covering the Knights, but I think the state of the nation will be such that it doesn't happen.
So if you had to put a percentage on it, a percentage of chance that we don't have a season this year, I said 80%. I
need you to define a season for me. I think it's still very possible.
I'm saying straight up, football at all. We don't see any football this year.
Oh, I can't go that high then. I can't go 80 like you did. I am going to say 65%, because I still think
That's quite high though. That's still quite high.
I agree. I still think at this juncture, if college football observes protocols from other entities that are doing things a certain way, and for those programs that are supported well enough to where they can do it without fans, I think those games get played. And I believe, the SEC may be the only conference that plays, for example, but I'm not going to be prepared to thoroughly confirm the death knell until they declare. Now, if you put a gun to my head right now and said, Kyle, place a bet, of course I'm going to bet they're not playing. I mean, hell, if I were in college right now, and because I was in the marching band back in the day, I did not play football until I got out of school, right?
Interesting.
I would not participate as a member of the Marching Knights. The risk would be too great. Florida's literally, from what I hear numbers-wise, the epicenter of the world for COVID right now.
We made it, baby. We made it.
Man, shut your face. That's what Florida needs more of. Bad press is the fucking laughing stock of a nation.
I did my fucking job. I wear my fucking mask.
Seriously, I wear my mask everywhere except for when I'm on the mic.
Exactly.
But, man, where the press is so bad, I'm thinking of running for office. But
might as well.
Man, listen.
And not to get political here, man. I actually like our governor. I actually liked him, but he's really screwed the pooch on this last couple of weeks, man. Good Lord.
Question. He was off to a strong start. I didn't obviously agree with every single thing he did, but who does when it comes to their legislator if they're not a tool of their party? But COVID, he's gone. He's out.
Yeah. I'm not even playing red or blue here because I didn't vote for the guy.
Did I?
But my feelings were before COVID. He's doing a good job, and I'm going to vote for him the way he's going. And now I'm not so sure anymore.
Well, I'll put it this way: he came after Rick Scott, so there was only one way to go. It was him or Skeletor, or from Skeletor to
Rick Scott is so terrible. And again, not even look here. Rick Scott is so terrible as a human being that he could be Jesus Christ's brother, and I'll say no, I don't care.
Well, I'll put it this way: if you're dumb enough to refuse federal money, I'm still bitter I don't have my light rail, EJ Christian. That's what I'm trying to say. I'd have visited you by now. You can't escape me. I took the light rail, bitch. I got you. No, but I mean, point with the decisions he's made, you can't support him, certainly.
No, not right now. And I'm as moderate as you get. Trust me, I'm pretty moderate. So no, unless I'm fucking leftist. Believe me, I'm far from that.
Hey, listen.
I calls it like I sees it.
All I'm saying, if we ever have a non-sports pod, I could destroy you again on why moderate isn't always a good place.
What does even destroy me? Like, really?
I mean, I destroy you all the time because you make bad arguments about how Tom Brady's the GOAT. I destroy
go ahead.
Time because you want to see you can't do it any better than Buddy is. So again, you're wrong. He hasn't won two different teams. Although that being said, that could change possibly. I mean, the possibility exists. It won't. And when he sucks with Tampa, I'll be proved supreme that Joe Montana wins again. I'm kidding.
Well, I don't. 43 years old, going to judge that. Okay.
I really don't think he's going to suck in Tampa. Let's not be stupid.
He'll be good for 1 year at least. I can't speak on the second year. So.
No, I think he'll do good for 2 years, but I don't think. I'll put it this way: if Tristan Wirfs stays healthy to protect him, they have a shot.
Agreed. All righty. Anyway.
All
right, Kyle.
I'll leave it at that, man. Listen, I'll put it this way: you have every reason to be pessimistic with college football, and if it doesn't happen, blame anybody you see who doesn't wear a mask. That's simple.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna write a piece this week on my blog about that. I think it's time. Time to dust off the old writing, old computer and just start typing away.
You're good for an interesting piece about once a quarter.
Yeah. I mean, I only write once a quarter now, pretty much.
If we're going to the bus like that, I was just making a joke at first. Now you're all
I know. I'm trying to recover from the, being knocked down. That's okay.
Destroyed once again. Yes.
Destroyed. Yeah, of course. Boom, boom. Bomb maker.
Honestly, I hope nobody really takes that seriously when I say that to you. Because if you
I don't know. Some do probably. Some listeners probably say, "Well, dude, that Kyle fucks you up all the time." Like, yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. He's the one that keeps coming back to get it.
Yeah. Anyway, Kyle, it was a pleasure. What you got going on these days?
Hey, listen, man. When I'm not interviewing local politicians, I'm laying down the sports talk better than a lot of people can do it. And I'm also doing it with news and entertainment as well. Listen, I leave it to Gene Stelio to talk to you about music, but when it comes to movies, I know better. And by the way, not for nothing, so does, well, your good friend, Demosthenes Euclid at Hilarity by Default Assault. Of course, you can also find me with Danny Thompson. No, not to be confused with EJ Christian. Ernest Julius Christian is not Danny Thompson. It's not like Jim Carrey and Ace Ventura. Einhorn is Finkel. No, that's not what's going on here. You can find me on Buzzer on Facebook with I-95 Sports, Bobby Blackjack, supporting us in the producer booth.
I saw that.
And yeah, man, it's a good time all the way around. And then lastly, my contributions with the Captain and Company Morning Show, Captain Chris Hill doing the thing there. I'm going to go back in there and I'll be live on Wednesday once more as at my normal slot where I make my appearances. And but check him out on Twitch or Facebook or on oldschool101.com from 9 to noon every morning. Captain and Company Morning Show, longest running internet radio show in the state of Florida. We celebrate the 2000th episode Friday, August 21st. Ooh. So, yeah, this dude's been at it for a while, man.
Mazel tov.
Hey, don't wish it to me. I'm not the one that's been doing it as long as he's been doing it.
You're associated with him, so I just pass it along. I'm just a message.
I mean, it's like, at the end of Fresh Prince, Uncle Phil and Aunt Viv had that little kid. That's basically as long as I've been there. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Anyway, Kyle, we'll talk soon. As always, great time on the show.
Honor, joy, privilege. Until next time, my friend. Class dismissed.
All right, on the line with us, friend of the pod, of course, Zack The Degenerate. I don't know if he's quarantined. He's a busy guy still, regardless. Zack, what's up, bud?
Not much. I figure I don't need quarantine. I drink enough. There's no way any virus can last in my bloodstream.
You can't be stopped, buddy.
No. Shit. They enter my body and they're like, fuck, we're dead already.
Okay, we gotta talk. You as people, you are by far the longest running guest slash friend of the pod. I mean, you were on the very first episode of this podcast back in 2011, and people know you as obviously gambling degenerate, but also as a resident Watch the Redskins fan as well too. Of course, today or earlier today, should I say, they announced they're going to be retiring the Redskins name. I'll leave the floor to you. Your thoughts on the Redskins and all this. What's your thoughts on the name change? Well, upcoming name change, I'll say.
Well, I mean, honest to God, it's been long overdue. I honestly, once we started to have a civil rights movement, I think it was clear your name was a terrible freaking name.
Right.
But as a Redskins fan, and every Redskins fan I know, you know what we called them? We didn't call them the Redskins. We didn't say Washington. We didn't say any of that. We called them the Skins. So I'm happy to see the lawyer up there has basically bought a trademark for every single possible name there is, whether it be Washington or D.C. He has got a freaking trademark for everything. I love that. If that doesn't
it's capitalism.
say capitalism,
yeah, exactly.
I freaking love it. And you know what? It won't mean anything because some little, I want to say Republican, but it might be a Democrat who is a Redskins fan, will say, oh, you can't have this trademark because you haven't done something with it. And he'll let Daniel Snyder slide, and we'll become probably the Washington Warriors. Because we don't want to change the logo. We don't want to change the colors. But we're going to change the name because we can't afford to lose those advertising dollars.
Yeah. Do you like Red Tails?
Yeah, I have no problem with Red Tails. I think it'd be great. I mean, you're playing to a PC culture, and unfortunately, it doesn't really sound like it invokes a lot of power and strength, but neither do, like, the St. Louis Cardinals in baseball. I mean, you're a bird, or the Orioles, so
well, they're one of the
why not
best
be the
teams
Red
in
Tails?
baseball the last, like, 30 or 40 years, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, you no longer need a dynamic logo or nickname that imposes some kind of fear. So why not go with Red Tails? I think it'd be great. You're honoring a history that has been overlooked for 70 plus years.
Mm-hmm.
Go with it. Maybe you'll actually get some fans purely because of a name. I can't imagine it. But then again, I was 5, 6 years old when I chose to be a Redskins fan because, hey, they had the same colors as Florida State. So
convenient, right? Pretty convenient.
Yeah, garnet and gold. I was like, oh, is this where Deion Sanders graduates and goes? Like, that's my first recollection of a Florida State football player who went to the pros. And then I saw the Redskin colors. Because growing up in North Florida, it's all about college. It was pro football didn't mean jack.
Right. I'll be honest with you, and I think I told you this earlier at work. Like I didn't have any strong opinions on this whole thing either way. Really, in the last couple of years when this thing really became to a crescendo. Am I glad progress worked? Yeah, absolutely. If there are people out there who are offended by the name, legitimate people, Indians who are offended by the name. Look, I'm black. I'm not an Indian, so it didn't offend me either way. But if there are people who are offended by the name, yeah, we need to take that seriously. I mean, the PC culture, obviously, I have issue with a lot of the woke left to some degree, but, something like this is, if it's something that's offensive, then we need to acknowledge that, and we need to fix it.
Oh, absolutely. I think this name change is only because of the woke left. Because I don't think Daniel Snyder cared one bit about what any Native American felt. not a tribe, not an individual, nothing. And for anyone to say, oh, Native Americans were okay with this, bullshit. Just straight up bullshit.
Yeah, they probably all paid off and shit.
You can find one or two who are like, oh, I don't care about this name. You know why they don't care about that? Because they care about bigger issues going on. Their freaking tribe and their land is being taken. Their land is being poisoned. Their tribe is freaking hemorrhaging on diabetes and poverty. They've got bigger fucking issues going on. So they don't give a fuck about the name unless they're okay as far as their lifestyle. And they're like, hey, we can take a breather and look around the landscape and go, wait, there's a football team named the Redskins? Are you fucking kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Really? In today's day and age, there's a football team named the Redskins. Like, those are the people who are concerned with the name. Otherwise, every Native American has way bigger issues to deal with.
Do we know when we'll have an actual name?
No, I don't think we know what the name is because, again, there's a freaking lawyer with trademarks on just about every possible name. From what I've heard, the number one option is the Washington Warriors because you wouldn't have to change much of a logo and you wouldn't have to change the colors.
Right. It's going to be crazy, too, because, like, you know, we can start training camp in a couple of weeks with Washington no name. right. Unless they decide to announce it next couple of days, because camp is opening. I mean, I'm assuming camp is opening next 2 weeks.
Hey, why not make a Washington no names? You're gonna sell anywhere from $10 to $50 million in jerseys. So
easily.
Even if it says no names.
Yeah.
Diehards and those who just want to have collectibles are going to buy a jersey that has no name on it.
Mm-hmm. And then when they get the name, you have another liquid of money coming in. Yeah. That's crazy.
And as far as I understand, Nike is only taking off the shelf and not selling stuff online that has the name Redskins. Like, they're not taking away the actual jersey with no name on it. I could be wrong. I haven't looked it up because, well, I haven't wanted a jersey since RG3 because there hasn't been anyone impressive. But I feel like that's what they've done. They've taken away anything that had that derogatory of a name.
You should have bought throwbacks. Mark Rippon throwback or something.
Hey, I got a Clinton Portis, I got a Deion Sanders, and I've got an RG3. I think I can put them up for auction.
Yeah, I mean, what's the value on that one? I don't know. Get something.
I bet you I could get some serious. I wish I would have bought a Sean Taylor, but I thought he was overrated. But that's because I hated Miami.
Yeah, Jason Campbell jersey.
Dude, that's the last time I felt confident in a quarterback. So please don't mock that.
Oh, I'm not mocking at all. You love, dude. I think we, if I'm not mistaken, when we do like some of our early podcasts on how good he could be. I mean, I do remember that.
He's the most underrated quarterback to come out of that organization, and easily the last 20 to 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
It is so sad what he was given and how he was treated.
Right. You also, earlier today, when we talked about doing the podcast, you had something to say about LeBron James. LeBron is not going to participate in having a slogan or a message on his jersey. And that really teed you off.
Oh, it's no longer just him. It's his Rich Paul bandmate, Anthony Davis. So the guy who is a Instagram PC culture warrior who's never even... Did you see a photo of LeBron James marching? Because I know I didn't. I didn't see a single video of him.
Mm-hmm.
I saw boatload of a ton of videos of a shit ton of NBA players and quite a few NFL players and even a few MLB players. I was shocked because there's so few that you have to be careful in the major leagues to do it. And yet, you know who I never saw a picture of out on the street? LeBron James. He can wear a T-shirt that says "I can't breathe" with the rest of his team, and then not talk about it. And then he can post something on Instagram, but not get out there in the street and speak. It comes to a point where you are so much of a fraud. It's worse than when people used to talk about Michael Jordan with Republicans buy sneakers too. All he does is care about his money. It reminded me of when the GM for the Rockets, what was it, Daryl Morey?
Daryl Morey, yeah. The China thing, the China fiasco.
Yeah, when he spoke about how we needed to stand with Hong Kong protesters, and he's like, whoa, because we're going to go over there, so we need to be treated with respect. When bullshit, you're concerned about your money. That was all he was concerned about, his money. It's all he's ever been concerned about, and it's all he'll ever be concerned about.
You know, you sound like Clay Travis today. I listened to his podcast today, and he ripped in LeBron in the NBA because I agree. The opposites are bad. Like, obviously, you be NBA diehard and like, oh, LeBron does this and that, and there's a lot of good that LeBron does, but it sometimes it rings hollow. Like, you're sitting there saying all this stuff, and then like, oh, I'm not gonna participate in this now. Oh, you're all about like, equality and non-oppression, but yet you still take money from a country that oppresses, that has Muslims in internment camps, and and Clay tries to
they oppress their entire nation.
Yeah.
It's not just Muslims in concentration camps, essentially. They oppress their entire nation. There is no free speech. There is no political voice in that country.
I would rather the NBA not be involved with China, honestly.
I would rather America not be tied
obviously,
America,
China, right?
But
right. I mean, the NBA gets beat up for it, of course. But why don't you put your neck out there and saying you this and that and talk about social justice? But yeah, social justice to a point, because I mean, no offense, but Chinese lives matter too.
Oh, absolutely.
The same.
We should not be trying to say all lives matter when it's only all lives matter in this country, and we use that as a counter reaction to Black Lives Matter.
Right.
Like, you just can't utter those words when you want to be disingenuous about our history and how things are going down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, am I a little upset that Black Lives Matter took over police brutality? Yes, because police brutality is an issue that affects every poor American in this country. White, brown, black, yellow, it doesn't matter. If you are in a poor section of any city in America, police brutality rains down on you. And so I feel bad that Black Lives Matter has taken over that message of police brutality. But in essence, maybe it does actually spark the change. It's not getting everyone on board, but it seems to be sparking just a little bit of change. And in this country, we can't have big change anymore. I would say since the 70s, big change went out the window, and if you're going to get any change, it has to be baby steps. So, yeah, maybe Black Lives Matter works in that way, that you can march for Black Lives Matter, and we'll fix the police brutality in this country.
Mm-hmm. All right, last thing I'll talk about here real quick. Obviously, you and I are big into politics, whatnot. Every poll right now has Joe Biden winning, and winning pretty big. Even in states that you wouldn't even think that he'd be even competitive. He's actually competitive in states that Donald Trump probably still win, but I mean, obviously this COVID-19 crisis is definitely. Look, I was questioning going into like April and May that was there any serious deterioration around the president of the United States, and clearly there is. I mean, I know there's still a lot of the worried about talk about polls in 2016 and all that. The polls weren't wrong in 2016 though. Like the Hillary Clinton was a 3% favorite to beat Donald Trump, and she actually won by 2% by virtue of the popular vote. So they weren't necessarily wrong either with that. And Joe Biden and Joe Biden is polling outside the margin of error, that's where I start. Once you start polling outside the margin of error, I start taking you a little bit more seriously.
Well, two things. One, while Hillary was polling nationally to win, and she might have been barely polling above margin of error in swing states. Why do you think Hillary Clinton lost? Personally, what do you think caused Hillary to lose?
Oh, it's easy. She was not a good campaigner. She was not. Let's face it. She wasn't flashy. She came off as entitled, to me anyway. And she didn't campaign in the Rust Belt, Wisconsin, Michigan, until last minute.
I mean, I can agree with all of that. And when you mentioned Wisconsin and Michigan, she didn't even show up.
Yeah.
She took for granted. She was such a selfish.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip the C word and just say bitch. She was
a
selfish bitch.
Right.
All right. But Joe Biden, we're living in a different era.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, what is it? Most hospitals in South Florida, the ICUs are filled up now.
Yep.
Major cities in Texas, ICUs are 90%. If we were supposed to reach a second wave come the fall, and this is middle of the summer, and really barely even the middle of the summer, body bags are going to start to rack up because we're going to start to run out of drugs, PPP,
mm-hmm.
and bed space again. So while we can fault Andrew Cuomo for, the high number of deaths in New York, we had 5 months to figure out a game plan from his mistakes in New York. And we're about to lose all of that. And I really believe in the next 2 weeks, we're going to start to see 2,000-3,000 dead people every single day.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're averaging, the moving average is 800 people a day are dying.
Right.
I really believe with the ICUs filling up, that would mean all the life-saving equipment to treat them is going to run out, and we're going to see from 800 multiplied by 2 to 3 times. So we're looking at 1,600 to 2,400 people easily every day dying. And once
mm-hmm.
you're there, we spent those 5 months, and the federal government didn't learn anything. Federal government was pressuring states to reopen for the safety for the economy. We got to get the economy going again. Screw the citizens. We need the economy going. Well, we're about to run out of a backstop for low-wage employees because Republicans refuse to do anything on unemployment come July 31st.
So, yep.
You're going to see people living in the streets, which is going to exasperate the issue even more. You're going to see a crescendo of death in this country.
And crime.
Oh, yes. That crime was bad before. To see Donald Trump put out an ad where buildings are on fire and people are looting stores and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, there's no one to help you," on the 911 operator.
That's so fucking disingenuous.
Well, no, hold on. That shit's happening while you're the president. Wake up, people. If he's putting out that ad, and right now every American already knows, if they've turned on a TV in the last month and a half, that happened under his watch.
Yeah.
America's not safer with you as president.
I'm with you.
I really believe Texas goes blue.
Well, if that goes blue, that's the sign of things to come. Because we just mentioned Wisconsin. Wisconsin, he won by, had Hillary campaigned there even one time, she wins that state. Okay, that was literally what 70,000 votes that Donald Trump won by. Okay, well, Joe Biden is leading by double digits right now in Wisconsin.
Okay, Ernest. So if he won by what 7,000, you said?
No, it was 72,000. I think it was. Number
72,000 in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Okay, I thought it was less than 10,000 in Wisconsin.
That's still a really small gap, though.
Well, here was going to be my point. Harley Davidson left Wisconsin because of trade tariffs. So you figure they lost thousands of jobs because of tariffs alone. You start to figure, I know for a fact, they averaged for the last 3 years, 2,000 dairy farmers went bankrupt. So if you had 2,000 dairy farms go bankrupt each year, that's 6,000. You count the people who worked at Harley Davidson who lost their job because of tariffs. How would you expect Donald Trump to win?
Exactly. And the thing is, too, what people don't realize, Donald Trump is any Republican, but Donald Trump, especially now, is already running a thin line because he has to run up the same states again, and then some.
And for Donald Trump, he can no longer run on. We need conservative judges because Mitch McConnell filled all the open vacancies. So, what are you running on? Ruth Bader, you're going to run on one judge dying? That is your one prayer as far as conservativeness? That you're going to put in one conservative Supreme Court justice because you filled up all the other spots already.
Right.
Really? Come on now. People aren't going to vote for that anymore. They got their wish the first time around.
Not only that, also, and one thing, and the big difference between 2016 and now is this: whether you love or hate Hillary Clinton, I can see. Look, you did it. You admitted yourself on last night on the podcast that you voted Joe Stein.
Oh yeah.
I can understand the intrigue of going with Donald Trump because Donald Trump in 2016 was an idea. Now he's this actual. Now we know how it feels to be under a Trump administration for 3.5 years.
Well, and on top of that, Joe Biden, I don't know who his campaign manager is, but right now he's being brilliant. They have put out a $700 billion plan to buy America. So now he's beating Donald Trump on the whole buy American. Build in America, buy American. He is beating Donald Trump to the nationalism point. So
Scranton, Pennsylvania, buddy.
And Donald Trump could fix it. He could put out $1 trillion infrastructure plan any day, and it would solve the job problem right now in America when you have 11% unemployment. And is Donald Trump doing it? No, because he's concerned about statues of people who fought against the United States of America, people who fought to own people who fought to own black people. And to hear black people go, "Oh, I'm a Donald Trump supporter," it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. The negative here for Joe Biden is that there's still a lot of time for him to fuck this up. There's still 3.5 months of.
There isn't. You know what you do? You start coughing 3 days before there's a debate, and you say, "Oh, I got COVID." Right? That's all you do. You end it right there. That takes away 2 debates. And then you come back for the third, and, oh man, I just puked. I got the flu. You avoid all three debates, and you're going to be the president. Do not speak. Do not go against Donald Trump, because you're clearly suffering from dementia or Alzheimer's, and you have a stuttering problem. So just do not debate Donald Trump, and you win the election. Now, do I like who he's considering? No, but I do not
Susan
like
Rice?
the alternative.
Is it Kamala or Susan Rice? Who do you think he picks?
Oh, it's got to be Tammy Duckworth.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I wanted Elizabeth Warren for a while. I mean, my sweetheart, if you had to put a woman, you know, it would have been AOC, but one, she's too young. But no, you want to put a woman because you said you're going to nominate a woman as your VP. You make it Tammy Duckworth. She is ironclad. She lost both her legs and still fought to get a waiver so that she could rejoin the military. I would love to see Mike Pence go up against that. Mike Pence, a guy who looks like he would rape a little boy in the back room of an altar.
Oh, Lord.
Against Tammy Duckworth.
That's kind of mean. That's kind of mean,
That's
buddy.
not kind of mean. That's the fucking truth.
Oy, that's kind of mean. That's what you're saying, though. Anyway.
Okay, have you seen his brother?
Mike Pence?
Mike Pence? Yeah.
No.
That does not look like a well-adjusted family.
I gotta. Again, there's not really not about the guy to know about. I mean, pretty lame guy. Honestly, there's nothing really there. It's like, okay,
he had
Christian.
No problem Mike Pence had no problem allowing an HIV epidemic to take place in Indiana, because why give away free clean needles? Mm-hmm. I mean, we know drug users are exchanging needles and transferring HIV. Let's not stop that.
Yeah.
Let's not allow a clean needle program so that we can prevent the spread of HIV. Let's let it grow exponentially. And now we have the COVID epidemic? Come on.
Right.
We don't need him.
So right now, before we go, if you had to put a percentage chance right now on Joe Biden winning the election, let's just say Donald. Let me put it this way: Donald Trump's reelection chances, percentage right now in July.
Here's Donald Trump. Here's the states Donald Trump's going to win: Alabama, Mississippi.
Okay, the usual.
West Virginia. Oklahoma.
Indiana. Missouri.
North Dakota. South Dakota. Wyoming.
Missouri.
Nope. I don't even think he wins Missouri.
Wow.
There's too many black people in St. Louis. I'm sorry. I don't think he wins Missouri. I don't think he wins Texas at this point.
He wins Utah also.
Oh, no, because too many people voted for McGannis as a third party.
McMillan?
McMillan.
But he's not running, though. But he's not running this time. I don't think he's running this time.
No, that proves the point. In 2016, when everyone hated Hillary, they still couldn't vote Donald Trump. They had to vote third party.
Well, I think the Rust Belt goes back mostly blue again, and I think Ohio and Florida will be toss-ups. I think Biden could win Florida. Ohio might be a toss-up. We'll see what happens there. And yeah, I think right now, I on the last episode I did the Donald Trump election odds 2 weeks ago. I said I had it at 35%. Now I'm going to put it. I'll keep it the same at 35% for the time being.
I don't think Donald Trump wins 100 electoral votes. Put it that way.
Geez, oh my God, that would be a fucking disaster. We'll see.
Oh, is it? No, I'm to the point with the COVID because I believe it's going to get a lot worse.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel really bad, and I'd like to talk more about that.
Okay.
All right. Either the education department put out their percentage of children who would die by opening up the schools, and tried to make it sound good by 0.02%. And you know what it equated to?
What's that?
14,000 kids.
Yeah.
So the Donald Trump administration is willing to sacrifice 14,000 dead kids so that they can open up the economy.
That's where their priorities are at, buddy.
That's what they needs to set in. And that's where Joe Biden, if Joe Biden and his campaign was smart, they'd focus on that every day.
Yep, and only that.
Put out a message
and empathy.
Every day.
That and empathy. That's all you need to be. All you need to do really at this point is be empathetic. That's it.
Nah.
That is it.
You hear Betsy DeVos, we're going to strip funding.
Don't get me started on her.
Really?
Don't get me started on her.
The one thing during a pandemic you're going to talk about is stripping funding? No, you need to increase funding. You want to talk about increasing funding for the police? You increase funding for schools, not just for PPE, not for just expanding buildings, doing block students so that one day one half of students come, the next day the other half of students come. Mm-hmm. You have to do so many things to even make it possible. And I'm not even sure then it's possible. But you have to do so many things to make it safe. It's not about defunding. You have to increase funding right now. And the Trump administration doesn't get it. They would rather watch kids die than risk the economy going down.
Well, so like I said, these next couple months are going to be interesting. And obviously, we don't want things to get worse, but unfortunately, I mean, as you're saying, you think it's going to get worse, and honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat as you are. But anyway, Zach, we'll talk soon, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, buddy, we talk later.
I'm sorry for all the F-bombs.
That's all right. No, please.
That's me. I'm a degenerate.
It's okay. Exactly. All right, buddy, take care.
Take it easy.
All right, later.
Later.
Thank you.